Hi there. Falkirk Piping and Glenbervie Folk Duo have recently moved premises, that is to say, we've moved house. We actually moved house and then 4 days later we went to Germany for a burn supper and we're now more or less settled in, except for the bare light you can see above me in the teaching room. That needs fixed, but it will be. You can also see, if you look up there, I'm in the mirror just now, but we have a nice high ceiling. It's really good for acoustics. We have a specific room for teaching. We used to mess about and live in the same room that we use for teaching, but now it's absolutely separate. This is a music room and that's all it's used for. Might have the odd session in here as well because the acoustics are really good. So I'll show you around to the business end first. This is where the actual teaching takes place. That is the seat of power there, and that's the webcam on top of the computer there for the Skype teaching. Just to show you around again, nice high ceiling, the acoustics are fantastic. So sweeping round here, that great big Edwardian monstrosity contains all my uniform, or more or less all of it. The stuff above it there's a suitcase ready to go at short notice. A big cardboard box which is full of padded envelopes to send out our new CD, which is just about ready for production and we'll get it out in the spring here. Decorations on the wall, there's a nice wee Glenurquhart Highland Games 2013 picture, and I won the games that year, best overall piper. It's also slightly against copyright for some reason. We got asked to take these pictures down when there were posters round about the place, because this guy allegedly resembles the Scots Porridge Oats chappie. Over here, what we have is basically the instrument corner. 2 sets of bagpipes, a mandolin, several clarinets and some guitars. What we have up here is really just stuff to prove that I've done what I say I've done. That's my teaching certificate there. A very old 1980 pre-Germany trip photograph at the Powfowlis Hotel. My first Edinburgh tattoo in 1981, I was only 16. That's my Piping and Drumming Qualifications Board Level 8 certificate there. I don't keep the rest up, I just keep that one. This is Strathclyde Police Pipe Band, just to prove that I was actually in it. That's me in the middle there, and I think that's Oban. Maybe 2004, 2005. It must be 2004 because Jimmy Work's still in the pipe major. Sweeping round again. This seating here, the big chest thing, really contains CDs and merchandise. Not that we have all that much. And it's also the seating area for parents or other observers when we're actually teaching. Printer over there, which is nice when it works. These guys here, this is my grandfather on the left hand side and his teacher and best friend Robert Irvin on the right hand side. That's when they're both in Allendale Pipe Band around about 1938. There's a poem in the middle which is written by Robert after they took part in the Battle of El Alamein as part of the 7th Battalion Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Below that is a tune that I wrote last year to go with the poem, and I think you can find that elsewhere on the YouTube. Moving down, that's me and my best buddy Brian Aitchison, Fluff, and that's us in our accommodation in Episcopi in Cyprus round about 1984 that would be. General knickknacks up the top there, that's Steins, all from Odenwald in Germany, with a Baran up the top there, safely there where no one can actually play it. CDs in the top shelf. Basically on the way down, piping supplies, piping maintenance things, that's all my Corey's LPs on the bottom. The 2 seats we can see here, and this side of the table, that's the hot seats, that's where you'll sit if you actually come and take a lesson here. Moving over here, this is actually worth having a wee look at. I collect little miniature die-cast pipers. Not very expensive ones, they're only about £3 each or so. Moving along here, I got this last week, I'm really happy with it. It's a replica Carronade Caron made, the main things, the real things were made by the Carron Iron Works and were exported all over the world. This replica, we believe, is actually made in the Carron Iron Works as well. Moving along. This was gifted to me when I left the 2nd Battalion Scots Guards way back. This here, I am so happy to have found it. It's called a death penny. These were given to the families of those killed in the Great War, 1914 to 1918. And this one was meant to be featured in a book by Russell McGillivray, which tells the story of all the people on the Larbert War Memorial or Cenotaph. This refers to William Kerr, this particular death penny, who was my grand's brother. And it was going to be in the book, but I lost it. And because we moved house again and we started emptying boxes, I found that this had in fact been in my garden shed for 6 years and I hadn't lost it. So I was really so happy that we found it. So, a couple of hairy Highlanders here. That's Wally Ross in the background. I forget where I got that. And more pipers. This thing here, it's a pipe banner for Great Glen Piping, which of course we were before we moved back to Falkirk when we became Falkirk Piping. I am totally up to ideas as to what I can do with this pipe banner. I'll never ever wear it. There's wrong information on it. The firm no longer exists. Any ideas gratefully received, and if you can use it for a credible function, you can actually have it. I have no great use for it. It's cluttering the place up. Stuff over here. These figures are really belong to my grandparents as well. The same with this stuff down here. What you can see in the background there is state banquet programmes. That one's for President Reagan in 1982. This one here is for the King and Queen of Spain, probably about 1986. I don't really remember where the rest of them are. Moving back up here, the original Crags of Tumbledown single, 45 single. We were all given 20 of these, which we were meant to sell. This was made after the battalion came back from the Falklands in 1982. That's JR, Jimmy Riddle, on the cover there. He's long since died. Again here, that's me and my pal Fluff, Brian, on my wedding number 1. We'll just back off from that and not say any more about it. And over here, this is quite a smart brass plaque that we had made when we were in Cyprus. It's the pipes and drums of the 2nd Battalion Scots Guards. And I think it was either Stevie Duffy or Jack Oakes that went away and got the things made. Down here, this is my dad, wearing the sergeant's stripes, getting presented to Her Majesty the Queen in 1977, I believe, during the Silver Jubilee. So, that's pretty much us, assorted rubbish. There's the chanter pot, you can see whistles in there as well. Moving back up, the top shelf there is pretty much all the music, piping music, that I'm likely to use on a day-to-day basis. Some of it I'll never use, no doubt. Moving further down, this is all Scottish folk music generally, and further down again, we're looking here at piping history, and towards the right hand side, Robert Burns. On the bottom shelf, you can see this is all Pibroch. It's the Pibroch Society binders and the Kilberry book, and again assorted stuff down below that. So that's pretty much it. We also have another room, which if you come for an intensive course, which more and more people are doing, we have someone from Switzerland, for example, coming next week. You don't stay here, that was quite some time ago, but you can come here, and what I'll do is I'll rearrange students so you can be getting maybe 2-3 hours a day of solid teaching, and we have a room that you can use for your own practice while you're here. So all welcome. We're still in Larbert. This year we really want to really concentrate on the teaching, so we'll be here most of the year, we think, although there are a couple of things in the pipeline, if you'll excuse the pun. So please come and see us. Please keep watching the YouTube channel. The YouTube is exploding. It's going absolutely crazy. And I'm also glad to say that the appeal for Parkinson's is doing rather well as well. So thank you very much for that. And have a good 2020. We certainly intend to. Stop.